Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque took place in the co-main event of UFC 260, Miocic versus Ngannou 2, and Luque finished Woodley in the first round. Not only did he finish Woodley in the first round by Darce choke, he probably finished Woodley's career as well. I don't see Woodley bouncing back from this one. This is 4 in a row. This was the most debilitating loss that he's had out of the 4 of them. I know he tapped out to a rib injury in the 5th round against Colby Covington. Before that, he got decisioned by Gilbert Burns. Before that, he got decisioned by Kamaru Usman. Luque just finished him in the first round, and not just finished him by Darce choke in the first round, battered him around anyway before that. It wasn't just like Luque caught Woodley in a Darce choke. He was smashing him before that happened around the octagon. Woodley was still throwing back big haymakers, and he was landing some good haymakers throughout the bout, landing a big right hand before Luque eventually started landing his own big shots against Vicente Luque. Caught Luque behind the ear. Apparently Luque just doesn't have a granite chin. His entire skull is made of granite, because I don't know how he took that shot behind the ear. It even looked like it might have wrapped around behind the head as well. I have no idea how Luque took that shot to the equilibrium section there, but he stayed standing. He got rocked a little bit with his legs. He caught his composure, stayed patient, waited for Woodley to throw again, and eventually caught Woodley with a counter hook as Woodley throws his massive big shot, trying to finish Luque in the first round. And Woodley got a little bit too emotional with the overhands, and Luque stayed patient, calm, showed his expertise, showed his experience, and that's what you get when you get a guy like Vicente Luque, who isn't this rushed up-and-comer that's completely undefeated, that has seen no adversity. Luque is a veteran of the game that's only just getting to the top now since failing against Wonderboy. He worked his way back up. Now he's really established himself as a top contender against Tyron Woodley. Woodley showed up well though, man. You got to give it to Woodley a little bit, man. He showed up. He didn't just go out there and back himself up against the cage the entire time and look like he didn't want to be in there. He really went out there and tried swinging big shots, and I think that was his downfall. I think that was really his downfall. He tried a couple of takedowns on Luque, was securing some good position against the cage, had double underhooks a couple of times, but Luque just defended it well, didn't let Woodley get him to the ground, worked his way back up, worked his way to underhooks himself, then turned Woodley around against the cage. Landed good body shots against the cage on Woodley. Woodley just got a little bit too emotional. You can't swing that much in the first round. I know the main event maybe says otherwise, because that's Ngannou. Woodley is not Ngannou. And Woodley is the same size. Woodley just looked a little bit small out there, man. I'll be honest with you. Woodley used to be seen by me as one of the big welterweights. The big muscle-powered up welterweights that's really big and really imposing, and you don't want to go near him. Now it seems like Woodley just seems like the prey of the welterweight division. Luque's a massive guy, stalking him down, really imposing, landing big shots, staying patient as well, but just Woodley couldn't keep taking those punches. Eventually went for a bad takedown on Luque, and Luque saw the opportunity and snatched up the Darce choke. One of his favourite submissions. He submitted Nico Price by a Darce choke. He's got another finish by Darce choke in his career as well, but Luque, man, good performance. Took big shots. If Luque went out there and just sort of beat up a Woodley against the cage that didn't really want to be in there, and Woodley looked like he was just looking up at the clock and looking a little bit upset that he's been controlling against the cage, I wouldn't like to see that from Luque. It was very good that we saw the performance that we did. He walked into the fight, the fire. He made Woodley fight him, which was a huge deal here, because normally guys sit on the outside. Woodley's allowed to do all the feints he wants. Maybe he backs up against the cage and you can sit on him and lay against him against the cage and land some foot stomps or land some body shots, but it doesn't really end up like a higher action paced fight. Like it's not this crazy whirlwind of a fight, so Woodley's able to go 5 rounds because he can kind of control the pace to a point where it's not just absolute mayhem, but Luque enforces mayhem. You can't avoid it with Vicente Luque. He's going to go out there. He's going to be looking to land big bombs. It doesn't matter if you're going to land one on him. He will take the big shots and keep coming back. He wants you to throw shots at him. He wants overhands to be thrown his way so he can have his opportunity to land his counter shot on the button. That's exactly what he did. He rocks Woodley with a big counter hook at one point in the first round. Woodley goes down to his hands. Not really a big knockdown, but it definitely gets stumbled off balance, the same way that Burns sort of knocked down Kamaru Usman in a very similar fashion. Then eventually Woodley starts rocked all over the place, wobbling around. Luque lands another few flurry of shots. Woodley starts wobbling around again, then Luque lands another big shot against the cage, and Woodley's wobbled again, and it just looks like it's eventually going to be a TKO loss for Tyron Woodley against Vicente Luque, because Luque is in hunting mode, the silent assassin he is. But Jesus. I mean, Woodley was just all over the place. landed big shot by Luque, and Woodley's just sort of, whoa, stumbling all the way over towards the cage like he had no idea where he was as soon as Luque started putting those hands on him. Man, Wonderboy's good, huh? Wonderboy just keeps being proven to me as really, really, really good. Every single time I see Luque go out there, the fact that Wonderboy schooled him, and Luque showed up well in that Wonderboy fight. I mean, I thought that Luque could have won the first round against Wonderboy, but Wonderboy showed that he's got what he's got. Came back to win that bout, might have even secured the first round as well. I'm not even too sure. I'll have to watch it again. But Luque is a real top contender in this division. Definitely is improving rapidly. Didn't throw any crazy leg kicks or body kicks, which I was actually surprised by. I thought he would go for some more body kicks to try and land on the ribs of Woodley. But he didn't want to risk getting punched by those big overhands in the process, I'm sure. So he kept it to the boxing, stayed very patient, waited for his moments, seized the opportunity to kill Tyron Woodley in the first round. And I think Woodley's career is done. I think his career is done. I don't see Woodley bouncing back. He's 4 losses in a row. They're cutting JDS. They're cutting Alistair Overeem. What more do they have to have from Woodley? It's not like he's got like... Yoel Romero was a risky let go because some people think Romero beat Adesanya. A lot of people think Romero beat Paulo Costa. A lot of people think that Romero beat Robert Whittaker as well. It's a risky send-off by the UFC to let Bellator have that guy because Bellator can spin a narrative, act like Yoel Romero actually won all of those 3 fights and he's actually still one of the best in the world. Bellator can use Yoel Romero, so it was a risky let go by the UFC. With Woodley, there's no reason for them to keep him on. I doubt Wonderboy's going to get a belt, so that's not something they have to worry about. Colby beat him pretty impressively, with no controversy, just straight up beat him start to finish. Luque just finished him in the first round, and Luque lost to Wonderboy, so even Woodley's win over Wonderboy doesn't really have too much value anymore anyway, because this current version of Wonderboy has beaten Luque, and Luque just battered Woodley around in the first round. And then Usman dominated him, and Burns dominated him as well. There's no reason to keep on Woodley in the UFC. And I just feel like he's done now. Being finished in the first round like that, 4 losses in a row. I know he was the champion and everything, but I just don't see them giving him another shot. And I don't even see Woodley being the type of guy to go over to Bellator or PFL. I feel like that would really hurt his pride. And I don't think he'd like to even be seen in some of those lesser promotions. I think if it's not the UFC for him, he's going to try out his rap career. And something tells me his rap career is not going to go too well. Because, you know, he's shit at rapping. So, like, I don't know what Woodley's going to do with his life. He's lost his wife and kids. They're done, I think. I think he actually split up with his wife. Now he's single, in his 40s nearly now. He's going to get older. I think he's already turned 39. Just got TKO'd pretty much by Luque. Got battered around before eventually getting submitted. I mean, he's taken a lot of damage in his career now over these past few fights. I don't see them giving him another opportunity. If I was Tyron Woodley, I would just sit out on the sideline and just be willing to take on anyone the UFC has to offer me whatsoever. And if that means I'm the guy who takes on Chimaev, it's the only way I can see Woodley. It's the only way I can see Woodley keeping his job in the UFC. I think, especially because Dana White doesn't really like him anyway in the first place, and the UFC doesn't really like Woodley in the first place because of all the stuff he's done in the past. Woodley's going to turn 39 in like a couple of weeks. 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, Woodley will be 39 years of age. I don't see them keeping him on whatsoever. I think he's going to go. But if he does want to stick around, Khamzat Chimaev is going to need a ranked opponent to take on. So if I was Tyron Woodley, I would mention nothing about anything now. Go home, rest up a little bit, get right back in the gym, and just be ready. Because Usman versus Masvidal is happening soon. I'm sure they're going to make a Leon Edwards bout soon as well. I'm sure Wonderboy's going to get a bout soon. There's going to be a lot of fights happening in the welterweight division. Maybe he can be ready on short notice to step in and have that really ridiculous comeback story. I don't see it happening. I think they're going to cut him 19-7. Not really much else to see from Woodley. He's just lost every fight since losing the belt and has never seemed to really be able to get it back. So that's tough for Woodley. Luque gets the job done. And if Woodley wants... Luque called out Nate Diaz. Let's talk about Luque for a second here. Luque called out Nate Diaz. Not even a bad call out. No one's calling out Nate Diaz right now. Oliveira turned him down for a title shot. Oliveira wants a title shot, obviously. Why would you want to take on Nate Diaz when you can have a title shot? I think it might be Gaethje versus Diaz, but Diaz said he doesn't want to fight at 155, and I haven't really seen Diaz calling out Justin Gaethje, and he's smart too as well, because Gaethje's leg kicks would completely destroy Nate Diaz. Maybe Diaz bites at the idea of Luque calling him out, because Luque called out Diaz after his Randy Brown win as well. And maybe Diaz just gets a little bit frustrated of waiting for top contenders to give him an opportunity and just bites on the Vicente Luque call out. I think Luque would completely obliterate him and destroy him and probably TKO Nate Diaz and finish him. I don't see Diaz winning that bout whatsoever, but Luque made his call out. He's going to get his headlines. And for Woodley, Bellator lives matter. Bellator lives really do matter. And you can go over there and make a good bit of money. Listen, I'd watch a Rory McDonald versus Tyron Woodley rematch at PFL. I don't mind. That's a decent matchup. You know what I mean? Why not? Put Woodley in the PFL tournament. Have him fight against Rory McDonald at some point in the final or semi-final. Big matchup. I'm tuning in. I'll watch the highlights afterwards if I'm not going to tune in live. But that's a good fight to watch back. You know what I mean? That's a decent fight with some decent names. But Luque's on to bigger and better things. If he doesn't get the Nate Diaz fight, I could definitely see the UFC matching him up with Michael Chiesa. Definitely, because Chiesa, although beating RDA and beating Neil Magny, he doesn't have the win that he needs to really give himself an opportunity to jump into that top three. I mean, before Chiesa's win over Neil Magny and Rafael Dos Anjos, he was beating guys like Carlos Condit, Diego Sanchez in the welterweight division. So I definitely think they're going to have Chiesa win at least one more bout in the welterweight division, and I think that bout is going to be against Vicente Luque, probably in the main event of a fight night coming up soon. I'd rather it on the main card of a pay-per-view, because I don't think that Chiesa's going to bring too many eyes to a main event of a fight night on his own. I don't think you can rely on Luque and Chiesa's name to bring the storm on their own. I think Luque would batter him as well. I think Luque's really good, and he keeps getting better, and he has a really good chance of doing big things in that division. His power is underrated in that division as well. If you get clipped by him, it could be all over. Chiesa versus Luque is something I'd like to see next. But Luque's going to jump way up these rankings. I reckon he's going to go to number 7, number 6. Of course, Jorge Masvidal, who hasn't beaten a single guy at welterweight that's currently ranked in the welterweight division. I know he did beat Michael Chiesa one point at 155. But other than that, Masvidal doesn't have a single win at welterweight against any ranked welterweight in the entire division. So I don't know why he's ranked above Wonderboy, even though he lost to him at welterweight. That makes no sense whatsoever. But they're giving him a title shot because he lost 50-45 to Kamaru Usman. So, you know, who cares, I guess. Good win from Luque. Really destroyed Tyron Woodley. I'm sure Dana White is rubbing his hands together in absolute joy, and he's going to wank to that fight later on, because he finally got to see Woodley finished again. This time properly, because at least last time against Colby Covington, Woodley could say, my rib, and just like tap out to the rib and act like it wasn't Colby Covington's body kicks that broke his ribs. But this time, Luque battered him fair and square after taking good shots of his own. I think Woodley's... I'll end on this. I think Woodley's main focus was not to get dominated. I think he just wanted to go out there and swing a little bit and actually show that he was here and fighting. And I think he maybe bought into that a little bit too much. Needed to slow it down a little bit, because he was winning the round at one point. Like, if he maybe dialed it back a little bit, didn't swing so crazily, he'd have a good chance in winning that round, and maybe, who knows, win the second round and win the third. Maybe, who knows. I reckon Luque would eventually got to him anyway, but maybe he secured a second round with a knockdown and then just rely on surviving the third round to get himself a decision win. I think he got a little bit gun-ho in the first round, getting all excited because finally I'm landing big punches in a fight. This hasn't happened in like 15 rounds. Now I'm doing okay. And then Luque catches him with the counter hook, puts him down. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Goodbye. I'll see you later. Toodle pip.